Thank you for the opportunity. The request of the Meredith family was denied by the Cemetery Commission for several reasons, even before the discovery that this may be an Indian burial site. While we respect, as most people do, the symbolism of family unity, this design proposal would not be in keeping with the guidelines for burial in Mound Cemetery. Those areas not platted were known Indian burial mounds. There is a reason why this spot was never platted. One of the first parcels purchased for the cemetery was from a Potawatomi family. The sale was contingent on the fact that the city promised to honor and respect the burial sites of their people. This request for unplatted area and unusual layout would be setting a dangerous precedent, opening the door for others to request unplatted land within the cemetery. The suggestion that they would pay for 20 graves for their personal design plan is interesting, since had this area been platted in a traditional manner, it would produce 40 graves. I've personally contacted several cemeteries and could find no cemetery that would allow this platting design. I see potential lawsuits from families that were denied burial space in Mound Cemetery.
Thank you. I am also a member of the Cemetery Commission. Mound Cemetery is a 163-year-old cemetery of great national historic significance. It is our duty to protect and preserve it for future generations. The request to occupy unplatted land and to design a unique grave configuration is inconsistent with the cemetery design created by Dr. Hoy in 1850. Other cemeteries we contacted wouldn't allow this request, and neither should we, especially since there are blocks of graves available in Mound. We simply cannot have individuals redesigning the cemetery. I love the Meredith family. However, this issue is not about the Meredith family. It is about setting a precedent for all families and doing what is right for the cemetery. If the area in question were platted, it would yield 40 graves, not 20. Granting the Meredith family would, in essence, be selling the area at half price. This negates the short-sighted plan to get some cash for the city. The proposal should be defeated for this reason alone. However, the major issue is that the Commission believes this area is an Indian burial ground. We believe the circular design, unique to all the roads in the cemetery, is a deliberate attempt to protect this area from use as grave space. We have found maps dating back to the 1850s that show many more mounds than what we currently have designated as the mounds in the cemetery. The council needs to do the right thing and protect this space and avoid the embarrassing publicity of having the State Historical Society, the Potawatomi tribe, the DNR, and the Department of the Interior coerce Racine to do the right thing. The Commission is seeking ways to help fund the maintenance of Mound, including enlisting the support of the Potawatomi tribe. We fear that a disregard for the original platting would put that opportunity in jeopardy. Also, if we allow the excavation of this mound, what is to prevent other families from requesting burial in the unplatted areas of the cemetery where other mounds have been identified? We need to prevent this potential chaos. Most of the 138 mounds Dr. Hoy identified in Racine have been lost. Mound Cemetery is a historical treasure for the nation, and its integrity must be preserved. The Cemetery Commission is committed to doing the right thing for the cemetery and ultimately for Racine. Please uphold the Commission's decision and deny this request. Thank you.
There is other space available in Mound Cemetery, and all families should have the same opportunities to purchase that available space. There is no need to grant a request for the purchase of graves in an area that was never intended to be a burial site. As a citizen who wants to have the historical value of Mound Cemetery preserved for my children and future generations, I ask you to vote no to this request. Please be a part of protecting this wonderful cemetery. Thank you.
There were members of the Cemetery Commission that were not allowed or were not recognized when they raised their hand to speak when the motion was made to approve the request from the Meredith family. And in all due respect, that's someone that you would want to hear from. I don't mean to go back and talk about my 14 years on City Council, but I've been on the Cemetery Commission for as long as I've been on the City Council. And I have never worked with a harder working group of people that were more dedicated to preserving the history of this city than those that are on the Cemetery Commission. That's why I choose to remain on that board, because of the amount of work that those individuals are willing to put into that. When they make this recommendation, they do not do it lightly. They dig into all of the history so that they can preserve for future generations the sanctity of that cemetery.
So in other words, instead of getting 30,000 from the Meredith, we could stand to make 300,000.
And would that be in regulation with the Potawatomi and
Well,
the
that
burial
was,
grounds?
I'm sorry, but that was before I knew that this could be a burial site for Native Americans. And really, all that aside, okay, if we show favor over one family to another, I think that's not right. We as a cemetery have to worry about everybody that passes away. Each one of us is going to pass away. And if this is premier burial sites, which I think it is, the Native Americans aside, then the cemetery department should be able to properly lay out that area and offer it to the entire city.
Thank you.
Thank you.